Welcome to the flag football rules overview. This presentation will outline some of the major points of emphasis for flag football that you should know, but if you want to know all the rules, you should go online to our website on the flag football page and see the rules page there. Flag football is played at Southeast Intramural Fields, which is located across from Jack Trice Stadium, and the Lead Sports Complex, which is behind the Lead Rec Center. Fields 1 through 18 will be played at the Southeast Fields, and fields 20 through 23 will be at the Lead Sports Complex. A field map diagram is located online to see where each specific field is located. All players must be current ISU fee-paying students or have purchased a rec pass. You also must show a valid ISU ID card before each game when you sign in at the field. Major point of emphasis this year: a player may play on only one team. This means if you are playing on a team, you are not allowed to sub in, you are not allowed to fill in for another team, even in the prelims. If your team's looking for a player, you may not grab somebody that's already on a roster for another team. You may play on only one team and one team only. There are no exceptions to this rule. Teams will be disqualified if you are found on playing more than one team. This includes you cannot play in the independent league and then play on another team for the Greek or the Resident Hall League. You can't be in the B division and play on a D division team. Again, one team and one team only. If you want to add players to your roster, you can either email me at ndpick@istate.edu or you can have them sign in at the game site and make sure they put their net ID on the scorecard. Sportsmanship is a priority and an expectation for all players and your fans during all flag football games. We have a sportsmanship rating system that uses an A, B, and C scale. Any team that receives 2 C ratings will result in that team being dropped from flag football. The team captain will be notified after they receive their first C rating. Any player that is ejected from any game are automatically suspended from playing any intramural activity until that player seeks reinstatement from the intramural coordinator. Starting the game, 7 players are needed to field a full team. You need to start with at least 5 players in order to avoid a forfeit. Teams are allowed to have as many subs as they'd like, making sure they are not on any other team and are legal ISU players. To do a coin toss, we'll do an even or odd to determine who starts with the ball or in the field direction. The team winning the toss has the option to choose to defer, receive, kick, or choose direction. Keep in mind that the opposing team then has the option to choose what they want to do starting the second half. So if you win the toss and you choose to kick, that means the other teams could get the ball to start both halves. So if you don't want to take the ball in the first half and you win the toss, the correct term to use is defer. That means that you will then have the choice in the second half if you want that. No jewelry is allowed that is deemed dangerous. Hoop earrings, necklaces, bracelets, and things like that. Our officials will not allow you to play in the game until you remove anything that they deem as dangerous. Shoes must be worn. No metal spikes or cleats or metal tips. No sandals. No steel-toed boots. Tennis shoes and molded cleats are what we recommend you use for flag football. Please try to avoid wearing shorts or pants with belt loops, pockets, and drawstrings to help keep the safety of all players. And it's recommended but not required that players wear mouth guards during flag football. Flag belts, they clip around your waist and they must stay clipped. There are 3 flags, a flag on each side of your waist, and one in the back. If you tie your flag belt together, you will automatically be ejected. Again, the point of flag football is to pull your belt off, not to tie it on. Your shirt must be tucked in and not hinder access to it. Here's our standard flag football field. We have 2 midlines or the 20s, or 2 quarter lines, and the midline at the 40. We don't do kickoffs. We start at the 10-yard line. Every time there's a score or to start. First downs are a little different than how they do it in regular football. We have zone lines to gain here. So it's not your standard 1st and 10. It could be a variety of yardage to gain. Depending on where you start. If you start at the 10-yard line, your first zone line to gain would be the 20. So it would be first down and you have 10 yards to go. Now let's say you're starting at the 40-yard line. You would have first down and you would have to get to the next 20, so that would be a 1st and 20. If for some reason your team made it all the way to the 39-yard line, there's a potential that you could have first down and 1 yard to go. So again, it all depends on where you are in the field and where the next line to gain is. Point after touchdown attempts will be from the 3-yard line, a 2-pointer from the 3-yard line, and a 10-pointer from the 3-yard line. Game lengths are 2 20-minute halves. Each team has 1 timeout per half. They do not carry over. The clock is a continuous clock until the last 2 minutes of the second half, and the clock only stops in those last 2 minutes if you run out of bounds on an incomplete pass, a touchdown, if there's a penalty, and on first downs, but the clock will start on the ready for play whistle after first downs if the ball is inbound. Overtime rules: each team will start first and goal from the 10-yard line. The captain who didn't call the toss at the beginning of the game will call this toss, and they'll have the option to either do offense or defense first, or pick which side of the field they want to play. Each team is guaranteed a possession on offense unless a defensive team intercepts the ball and returns it for a touchdown, and in essence they would win the game and would not need to play offense. There is an offensive line of scrimmage and a defensive line of scrimmage. Neither team may jump across their line of scrimmage at any time until the ball is snapped. Players are not allowed to jump back on sides. This is a penalty, so if you are on defense and you jump across into the neutral zone, that will be an automatic flag. You do not have a chance to get back. Automatic flag there, they jumped off right away. Similar with false starts, if the offense starts early, it's a flag and a dead ball. False starts and offsides are the only 2 penalties that are dead ball fouls that will stop the play right away. Snapping the ball, direct snaps are not allowed, so you cannot take it right under there, right under center. Instead, the player receiving the snap must be at least 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage when snapping the ball. So a proper snap could be between the legs, or we also allow the center to be on one knee and just kind of flip it back to the quarterback if they want to do that as well, as long as that quarterback is standing 2 yards behind scrimmage. Big point of emphasis for flag football is learning how to screen block. The defender must avoid contacting the blocker in any way. The blocker may not initiate contact by moving into the defender, but the blocker may move to gain position. In essence, it's kind of like setting a screen in basketball, and we are trying to avoid as much contact as possible. Proper legal screen blocking would look something like this. The defender isn't trying to contact the offender, and the offensive guy is using his feet to move and try to prevent the blocker or the defender from going around. So what can't the defense do? The defense cannot do a swim move. Again, that's contacting the offensive player. That's illegal. They also cannot bull rush. So they cannot run through the offensive player. What's illegal for the offensive side of the ball? The offensive side of the ball, they also cannot use their hands to block. Again, it has to be a screen block. Generally, when you're blocking, your hands are going to be at the sides or behind your back. You also cannot stick out your knee and trip the defender to go around them. That's a flag right away there. And you cannot initiate contact and displace a defender either, so you cannot move him out of the way. Right here in this video, you're going to see a live shot of improper screen blocking, and we're going to focus on the center here. He's actually going to commit 2 fouls. He's going to do a illegal screen block, and then after the interception, he's going to tackle people. So keep a look right on the center here. Here's the first penalty there. He shoves him out of the way with a forearm. There's an interception, and he's going to tackle the player. Again, this is flag football. You have to go for a flag belt. You are not allowed to tackle a player to get him down. Eligible receivers, all players on the field are eligible. You only need 1 foot or body part to be inbounds for it to be a completed pass. If any part of that body part touches the out of bounds line, it is incomplete. Forward passes, only 1 forward pass is permitted per down. The passer must be behind the line of scrimmage and not have already crossed the line of scrimmage. You can backward pass or lateral as many times and anywhere on the field as. An example of an illegal forward pass is here. He forward passes it, and even though he's still behind the line of scrimmage, he cannot throw it again because that first pass was. Now, an illegal forward pass, if he throws it behind the line of scrimmage and is backwards, then that player has the option to throw another pass there. Fumbles the ball is dead anytime the ball touches the ground. So if you're snapping the ball and it's a bad snap and it hits the ground, the ball is dead right on the spot where that ball hit the ground on the snap. Similar, if you're running and you want to do a lateral and you pitch it and it hits the ground, ball's dead right there on the spot. And our officials will mark. And again, as we said, anytime the ball touches the ground, it's a dead ball. So you cannot use the ball to help keep yourself up. If that ball is in your hand and you put the ball on the ground, that's a dead ball also and will kill the play. Anytime the ball touches the ground, it is dead, even if it's in. The other major rule here that we want to focus on is flag guarding. Players cannot use their hands, arms, or the ball to block defenders from grabbing their flag belt. So anytime a defender is trying to pull your flag belt and you slap their hand away, that will be a penalty for flag guarding. You also cannot use a stiff arm. Again, we're trying to avoid contact of any way, and you cannot prevent that defender from grabbing the belt. Also, you cannot protect your flag belt from when the defender tries to grab it. So this duck move there that he's doing there is illegal because that's blocking your flag belt and not allowing them access to off. Legal running form. A lot of players you'll see out there will run with their hands above their heads, and this is a great way to automatically avoid flag guarding. You will never get a flag guard if you have the ball out forward your head. But you ask, what about stripping and fumbling the ball? Well, there's no stripping or striking at the ball in flag football, so you can hold the ball out there as much as you want. Anytime a player strikes at the ball or strips the ball, that's a penalty. You cannot strip the ball. Similarly, you cannot take the ball out of the quarterback's hand. That's our automatic roughing the passer. We want to protect our quarterback. You're not allowed to hit the quarterback, hit their arm, hit the ball out of their hands or anything like that while they're attempting to throw the pass. If your flags fall off before they are pulled by a defender, it's one hand touch above the waist. So if you're running, your flags fall off, now it becomes a one hand touch for that defensive team to get them down. Again, you must attempt to pull the flag belt off. You're not allowed to force the defender or the offensive team out of bounds. That will be a penalty for unnecessary roughness. You have to make an attempt to pull the flag belt off. Punting. On fourth down, the referee will ask the offensive captain if the team wants to try for a first down or if they want to punt. The decision will then be announced to the defense and give them enough time to align themselves accordingly. On the punt, the kicking team must remain behind the line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked, and the receiving team also must remain on their side of the line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked as well. You may only return the ball if it is caught in the air. If the ball touches the ground, the ball is dead at the spot, and that will be where the offensive team begins. So in this example, you can see the offensive team isn't going to leave until it's kicked. The defensive team can't rush. The ball is kicked in the air. They try to attempt to catch it. They don't. It hits the ground, and that's where the ball is dead and where the offensive team will. Spot pass. This is what you want to know. You don't want to get fooled in your games on this. A player is allowed to pass on a punt that is by the returned player who catches the kick. That player, if they catch the ball in the air and don't start with forward progress, then can throw a forward pass. When the player catches the punt, they also have the option to either, as I said, throw the ball, or they can decide to run with it as well. If the pass on this spot pass is incomplete, the ball will be placed at the spot where the pass was attempted. Take a look at this spot pass here. You're going to see the punting team is going to punt it to the yellow team. The yellow receiver is going to catch the ball in the air. He's not going to move forward with his progress. At this point, he can throw or run. He decides to throw. The player catches the ball, and wherever they pull their flag belts, is where the offense will start. So if that was incomplete again, it would go back to where the player threw the pass. Mercy rule. If a team is ahead by 19 or more points at or inside the 2-minute mark of the second half, the game will be over. If you need to reschedule a game, there are a very limited number of rescheduling options available. Check the list of options online and then email me at least 24 hours in advance of your game, and I'll see if I'm able to reschedule that game. There is a $20 forfeit fine charged to the team captain for teams that forfeit games without giving me proper notification in advance. Rain policy decisions will try to be made 2 hours before the first game starts. We'll do everything we can to notify teams via email if possible and when time permits about the cancellations. We'll also make sure to post it on our Rec Services website and social media accounts. And the rain hotline number, if you want to check that, is 294-5002. We hope you have a fun and enjoyable season, and just remember when you're out there that intramurals are just for the fun of it.